If your law firm has words like top, expert, best, actually it's quite unethical according to American Bar Association's Rule 7.1. Hi, I'm Awais. I run Time Technologies LLC, and I make sure that the lawyers get their marketing and automation done right in the ethical way. So according to American Bar Association Rule 7.1, I'm just gonna paraphrase here. You just cannot make a statement that gives a false impression on the clients. So if your website says best attorneys in Phoenix, Arizona, that goes against the guidelines, and the main reason for this is because it is not independently verified. And that is the reason the most flagged words are expert, specialist, best, top. You can actually call yourself a specialist if and if only you have been certified by an official board in your state. So the only way you can actually call yourself specialist if there is an official board that has certified you as a specialist. You cannot claim it yourself. Now the question is, if everybody like plumbers and electricians and HVAC people and e-commerce brands, they can call themselves best, but you can't, so what you gotta do? Because this is a disadvantage when it comes to how people search. So I'm going to give you 4 different strategies, and in these 4 strategies you learn how to bypass these rules ethically. Strategy number 1 is third-party designations. Strategy number 2 is client testimonials. Strategy number 3 is practice-focused language. Strategy number 4 is verifiable experience data. So third-party designations are verifiable facts that you earned over your career, and you could actually use them in your advantage by saying something like selected for Arizona's super lawyers, AV preeminent rated Phoenix family attorney, and something like that, right? So it gives you a big advantage and shows you that you are an expert without calling yourself as an expert. Then comes the client testimonial. Now, you have the rules on you, so you can't legally say or ethically say that I am the best, but if your clients have been writing about you on the reviews, now client testimonials are so important because you do have rules on you, but for a client, there are no rules. So if the statement comes from them, for example, they're telling you that this is the best lawyer or best family lawyer, and they write it on your Google reviews account or maybe, Avo or anything like that. So technically, you're still getting the right signals for the Google, and you are not doing anything unethical. The third thing is practice-focused language. Now, the practice-focused language is so important because most of time, and I have seen it a lot on every single website that I see the lawyers do, and they love to brag about them. So usually you do like experts in family law since 1883 or family law attorneys that care from 1885 or whatever, right? The problem with this is now it does not match the intent of the user. So instead of that, you could actually use practice focus words. Like, for example, if you say exclusively focused on high asset divorce in Maricopa County, so if you say exclusively focused on high asset divorce in Glendale, that actually helps you a lot. So because the people who are actually searching for the exact query, your results would show up more because their intent matches with the content of your website. And honestly, it is not about content only, because if you look at it, a person landing on your page, if the search query he has made is very, very similar to the messaging of the website, which we call copywriting, not only your traffic is going to increase, but your conversions, which matters, that they fill a form or book a consultation, those would also increase. And I think that's what you want. The fourth one is the verifiable experience data. Now, honestly, just go out there, reduce the adjectives with numbers, and that really matters. Like you could say over 20 years of handling custody cases in Glendale, right? So that actually builds more authority than just saying, oh, I am the best, and I can win you most of the cases. So that's ultimately wrong, and it positions you as somebody who makes vague claims rather than being specific about exactly what you do and how much experience do you have in doing that. Now, your website is nothing without your Google business profile. And if, as you are a local service business serving local people of a particular area, the optimization is extremely important. And I'm going to tell you about 5 different trust signals, which when Google gets, ranks your website and GPP higher in the first 3 places, which we call the map pack. Number 1, use real photos. Number 2, build a foundation of genuine reviews. Number 3, fill out every single field accurately. Number 4, every update to your GPP triggers a full recrawl of your website. Number 5, your profile and your website have to tell the same story. So about using real photos, right? You don't have to go on Gemini, you don't have to go on ChatGPT and put your picture in and then produce AI generated slop that you put on GPP just to fill it up, right? Instead, show the building that you have, show the offices that you have, show people working in your firm. It gives real signal to Google that this business is active and these are real people working for you. And that also builds human trust, because humans believe more when they see things actually happening in your business, right? And they trust you more. So using real photos instead of stock photos or AI generated images has a big advantage. The next thing is building foundation for your Google reviews. Now, the biggest issue and the misconception here is that the firm that has like 1,000 reviews will always win. Well, that's not entirely true, but it's basically the recency, which means that if you've got recent reviews and that firm got a review like an year, and that firm got a review like 1 year ago, so your firm would rank better because you've been working and you're getting recent reviews. So Google looks for recencies to rank, and if you're not pursuing your clients to give you reviews, you're actually doing disservice to your own firm. The third thing is filling out the information. Now, see, if your phone number uses a call tracking software like CallRail and you put that phone number on your website, right? But you made your profile way back then and you have some other phone numbers, so there's a mismatch, right? And if your address is not matching on your website with your Google business profile, there's a mismatch. In fact, if you have been listed on any directories, that could be Avo, that could be other lawyer directories or the bar association directories, you guys need to understand that there is a concept called NAP, which means number, address, and phone. It should be consistent on all your profiles. You can't have different numbers, different addresses. That shows that you're not a real business if you do have those kind of things, right? So you need to ensure that you are consistent every single place that where you put or list yourself. The fourth thing is a very important thing, and most people do not even know this. They put randomly anything on GPP, not understanding that every single time you update your GPP, it forces Google to recrawl your website and see if that content is there. For example, you have written a blog, right? It could be on Substack, it could be on LinkedIn, and then you created a post and posted on your GMB because you might have thought that would help the users when they look through the maps, right? The issue with that is that if that content is not present on your website, when the Google is going to recrawl your website, it's not going to find it. And if it's not going to find that content, Google doesn't know why you've posted it there. So it's very important to have a perfect timing there. And usually it's great to use an automation software for that. So as you, update something on your website, you've written a blog, or maybe you've been on a podcast, maybe you just created some video on YouTube, and now you posted that on your website. So what happens is, at that time, with an automation, you can trigger an update on GPP where the same content is posted there. So the Google is going to recrawl, and it will help Google to understand why you've done that, and it helps your website to be indexed too. So it has great advantages if you just use an automation software, and there are multiple automation softwares which can easily do it without costing you a fortune. So the fifth one is your profile on Google Business and your website should tell the same story. So a lot of people make this mistake when they are building, the Google business profile. They tend to choose a lot of, service areas. Like for example, they could claim they are personal injury lawyers and then family lawyers, and they're also, a business attorney or estate planning attorney. And what happens is that when you've done this, but your website tells you that, or tells a person, but your website tells a person that this guy is a family law attorney, now there's a mismatch. And this mismatch is the worst thing you can do to yourself, right? Because you have to build the same way and in a consistent way. So you have to be consistent on that to get you a better rank. So one of the best tricks that I use to make sure that all my information over the internet is correct, and that is by using Google's knowledge base. Now, Google's knowledge base, you can look it up on Google, you'll find the link, it's an official Google link, and you can go there, type your name, right? Once you type your name, you will see a lot of different places where you have been listed with your name, email, phone number, address, right? And now fix it. If there is a discrepancy in any of those, just try to fix it. And once you fix that, the biggest advantage is that whenever Google is going to find you, or somebody types your name, or somebody tries to find you through a service, you are going to be listed correctly, and this gives a really good positive signal to Google. Now, honestly, all these things are pretty common. You're going to find this on Google all the time, but I want to take 1 or 2 minutes here. I want to explain something else which matters the most, specifically when it comes to local SEO and how the search is changing now, right? Because SEO is a form of marketing, right? And a good marketing is when the marketing message resonates with the user's intent and their need. And that's when you'll find the best client. So your best client isn't somebody, casually browsing on social media and they've stumbled across a beautiful cup and they want to order it. In fact, your clients are people who are generally in high stress situations, right? They might have a big problem that is going on with their lives and they need your help. Now, they would type stuff which would be longer than the most keywords you're trying to optimize for. Just for an example, your clients might have just been served with divorce papers, or their ex is not returning their kids back to them, and there could be thousands of things, right? And that's when this whole situation becomes really difficult to market. But if you know your art, your craft, you know exactly what people want to know, what people are writing on the internet, you win this game, even if you are a small firm just trying to compete with the bigger ones in your area. Now, optimizing for, say, divorce lawyer in Arizona or divorce lawyer in Phoenix is a keyword, right? Now, that keyword has a broader intent. You need to understand that. Why? Because you could attach 10 different things with that. So, say a keyword that says divorce attorney in Phoenix are bad, right? Divorce attorney in Phoenix charge too high. Divorce attorney in Phoenix are rare. So there's so many things that could be attached. But think about it in this way. Emergency child custody divorce attorney in Phoenix. Now this whole line is a long tail keyword, but it kind of matches the intent of the user, which means that now the user will most likely to write something like this, right? Or something like, say, survey divorce papers in Phoenix, what do I do? That is something you want. And that's when people write something like that, they should land on your website. So rather than stuffing keywords, which you find on SEMrush or Ahrefs, or you find most of the SEOs doing, you should match the intent of the page. Now, for example, if somebody is writing, like I said, divorce attorney, I got served with divorce papers, what do I do? It should, because it's an informational string. So the person should land on your blog. So your blog should be optimized for how, what, why, etc. Right? Whereas when it comes to your service pages, the intent should be commercial and transactional. That is why a lot of people who in recent times see that their traffic has dropped is because they were only optimizing for informational keywords rather than commercial keywords. And as voice search is taking over, as the AI overviews are taking over, most of the people who land on your website are the ones with commercial intent. And if they don't find the right messaging on your website, they actually cannot resonate with that, and they will never ever fill the form and they'll just bounce off. So I tell all my clients that you have to be extremely problem specific and targeting people who are ready to buy rather than targeting people who are generally or casually browsing or learning about divorce law. And that is why keyword stuffing has gone down the drain and it is not working for anybody. The next important thing is that you need to associate yourself with the group of people that you're trying to target. For example, if you only want to work with high net worth individuals, you could write something like high net worth divorce attorney Or if you want to target somebody who wants an aggressive custody divorce lawyer, so you could actually add within your writing copy that you are an aggressive custody lawyer in Phoenix, Arizona, something like that. And that helps you position yourself in front of the right people so they understand that this is the person who is going to truly help them. The last thing I want to talk about is the website design. Obviously, on a bigger level, you guys need to understand that just slapping a template from WordPress, it's not going to solve any problems, because number one, those templates are not really designed with you in the mind and your local area. The colors people want, the colors they get attracted to, their local preferences, and that is why a proper UI UX designer or conversion optimized design must be in place. Now, I know you guys will think, oh, that's very expensive. It is expensive, but think about it in terms of an ROI, right? But think about it in terms of ROI. When you have a designed website which is perfect on mobile, which 70 to 80% people use today, and it has a big number where people can contact you, it has real photos from your business, and the colors are up to the mark, which resonate with the local population, you're going to see more conversions. More conversions means if you're paying somebody for, say, a website and they have charged you like $5,000, but if you win one extra case because of the design itself, you can justify that cost and you will compound on that, right? So that's something which is very, very important, that your website loading speed, your website design, the color and the branding should be consistent, and that branding should be according to your local area, because one of those things which Google really likes to see is the engagement. So if a website visitor comes on your site and bounces off within 4 seconds, even if your website is pretty quick, looks great on paper, Google will think that the content on this website is cheap, or maybe it does not really offer any sort of help to the visitor, and compare it with somebody who lands on your website and spends like good 5 to 20 minutes on your website. And even if that person doesn't take an action, but that shows that your content has engaged them. And Google is pretty good at, detecting that. So improve the engagement of your website, and that is solely dependent on the front end of your website and the copy that you've written there. So I tell all of my clients that whether you're doing SEO, whether you're running ads, whether you're going on podcast or doing a lot of organic posting on social media, the most important thing that you guys need to understand is that your business is completely different than somebody else's business. You just can't copy somebody's business and think that since they are successful, I will be successful as well. In fact, you have to position yourself as somebody who's unique and ready to help. And your dynamics would be completely different from somebody else's dynamics, right? So that is the reason that if you'd like, you can book a consultation with me, and that would help me understand, and it will help you understand, which is the most important thing, that how you are going to market your business. So no growth marketer can ever help you if they do not know your business. So that is the reason, get in touch and we'll see if I can help you. And if you think I cannot, that's great, but you will walk away with some good insights.